Hey guys, just want to welcome you guys to the season premiere of All Up in My Business. So, All Up in My Business is a vlog series about random little stories of my life that people find interesting. I'm the type of person where I'm not really super closed off and hidden and it takes you 10 years to get to know me. No, I meet you, I'm comfortable with you, I'm telling you all type of shit about me. So, one story that this is just crazy when I think about it, even though it happened so long ago, was how I lost my virginity and the events that followed after that. So, here we go. So, first of all, I was 17 when I lost my virginity, okay? So that was kind of to me, that's a big deal because all my friends were already sucking dick, fucking niggas. They was already getting STDs. I was way behind in the game, all right? So I was kind of I think because I had already did other shit, not even sexually, just other shit that I had no business doing, I kind of felt okay, this one thing, I want to kind of play it safe. You know what I'm saying? I want it to be special. I had close calls. There was one time the dick almost went in, but not really. So that just totally doesn't count. But the time that I actually really had, sex, okay, that's what I'm going to tell you guys about. Okay. So I wasn't in Maryland. Actually, this is when I was doing I was in California for the, 6 months with my mom. So coming from the county that I was in Maryland, and then moving to back to San Diego, and me being a little bit older and it just being so different out there, I just had so much more freedom. Just getting on the major bus lines and just all the different people. The school was bigger. It was just a totally different vibe and environment, and I just had so much freedom. Now, I was 17, so when you're 17, you're almost 18, so you think basically I'm a full grown adult. So I remember at that point, things weren't really going well with me and my mom, and I think it's because me and my mom had spent, some years apart from each other, and I think I was thinking of her in that 8 or 9 year old's eyes, and she was thinking of me like I was still 8 or 9 years old. So I don't know what I thought, if she was the cool mom and she thought of me as still a little girl. So I think that's where some of our wires crossed a little bit. So I just remember at that point, she just told me one day, look, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do, as long as you're in the house by 11. I think it was 11 o'clock, 10 or 11 o'clock. And she was and if you're not in the house by 11, you have to find somewhere else to sleep that night. And then you can come back home the next day. I'm not going to ask no questions. You don't have to tell no lies. That's what the fuck it's going to be. So I was all right. So I never, by the way, I never had to spend the night anywhere else. I always made it in before then, and I wasn't the type, I wasn't oh, I'm gonna come in the house at 10:58. That was just her thing. She felt like that would work out, whatever. So one day, okay, there was this mall or whatever in San Diego. It's a nice little mall, and I used to go to that mall all the time after school, right? And be stealing little shit from players, all type of little dumb teenage shit I was doing. And so one day I was just walking down the street, and so this African man, he was fairly young, I'd say. He told me he was 25, I think, and I was 17. And he was like, "You are very beautiful." You know how they be all rough and, shit, you know. And so I'm like, "Oh, thanks." And then he's like, "Let me take you out to dinner and the movie." So I was like, "Okay, whatever. I don't have to be in the house till 11." So I could tell off the bat, he had money. He took me to some high end sushi place. And then we went to some little fancy movie theater, old timey type of feel. And, everything was cool. But he was kind of he wasn't my type at all. I mean, Africans just really aren't my type. I just think that it's just such a different culture. Anyway, he wasn't my type, but I was having fun out with him, and I liked, being wined and dined, and I wasn't used to that, especially at 17. So after that, we exchanged numbers or whatever. And I remember he had got a phone call at some point, and he was arguing back and forth. and it was with his dad. And I think his dad was probably like a fucking king over in Africa or some bullshit, right? But this guy definitely had money. Like he was always like dressed in a suit to the T and everything. So I remember one day, maybe I was bored or something because I wasn't interested in him. That I do remember. And, we got in contact and he was like, take me to a movie. I want to take you to a movie. Or maybe I asked him to take me. I don't know. But I remember it was Christmas Eve. Okay. And so I went out and he was staying at a hotel. There's this hotel, it's called the US Grant. And it's like super expensive. It's probably $200 a night or something ridiculous to stay there. And it's funny that I lost my virginity in that hotel because um, later on, and this guy will appear in the Nigger Chronicles, this white boy that I was fucking with. The white boy that I was fucking with, his dad was an architect, and his dad helped design that same hotel. So maybe it was fate. I don't know. So anyway, so I remember he was telling me to meet him at the hotel. I don't know, because he had to change, or just we were going to meet at the hotel first, and then we were going to go to the movie. So I was like, all right, cool. So when I got to the hotel, I'll never forget. There was the Chargers, the San Diego Chargers were playing, and they were losing. And I mean, there was maybe like 2 more minutes in the game, but in football, 2 minutes is like fucking 20 to me. So I just remember in that last 2 minutes, they made a touchdown, and them motherfuckers won, right? And so that was like a big deal. And then I remember when I got there, and I'm like, you ready for the movie? He was like, I don't have any money. So I'm like, that's odd because that's the only reason I fuck with you. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I knew he was lying, but at the same time, like, I think I was just kind of like, well, whatever. And then somehow that nigga talked me into taking my clothes off, okay? And then we did it for like 30 seconds. Like, he put it in, and then he did maybe like two, maybe three pumps. And then I pushed him off. And I think I was just so upset at myself because I'm like, I waited and I saved it all this time to do it with a complete stranger and then someone that I'm not even interested in. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't even some boy I knew from high school or middle school or something like that. So I was just mad at myself. And then I was mad at him because I'm like, was this whole thing a trick? Like, meet you at your hotel room so we can fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just so upset. So I pushed him off and I was like, I'm leaving. Like, I don't want to do this. And then he started panicking. Like, I don't know what the fuck he thought I was gonna do. He started panicking, and I remember, I don't know if I had more clothes on than him, but I just remember my clothes was on in like a New York motherfucking minute, and I was on my way out the door, and this nigga was like trying to put his jeans on real quick. He was like, wait, wait. And he was like, I swear to God, like he had one leg in, one leg out, and he was like hop, skipping, walking, running after me in the hallway, okay, as I'm going to the elevator. And it was a fancy hotel, so like one elevator went up this level, one went down that level, wasn't just some up and down regular shit. So I'm pressing all the elevator doors trying to get down to the lobby and shit, waiting on the elevator. So then he was like, no, do not leave, I have money, we can go to the hotel. So he opened up his wallet. He had a wad of cash, and I was that just upset me more because it's like, okay, so you definitely did get me here to just fuck me. And maybe he was scared because I was underage. I was 17. I don't really know exactly the laws out there. I don't know if that would be considered like statutory rape or whatever, but maybe that's what he was worried about, or maybe he just really liked me. I don't know. Either way, I got the fuck out of there, and I never fucked with him again, right? And so I'm leaving the hotel. I'm mentally fucked up. I lost my virginity to this African fool. So I'm like standing on the corner and I'm about to cross the street to get on the bus. And I was just going to go right home, which I wasn't far from home, maybe 10 minutes. And I remember there was another guy, this light skinned boy, and he was standing on the corner. And like, I know this sounds crazy, but I'm a Pisces and I have these psychic dreams and these intuitions and these like sort of like visions that come to me in dreams and just these thoughts that come true. And so as I get older, they get stronger, right? So I just remember thinking, me and this guy, I just remember having this feeling about him, like somehow me and this boy were gonna connect in some type of way, even though he was a complete stranger. So we got on the bus. We went to the all the way to the back on the bus. He sat on one side, I sat on the other, and then there was this white boy who was like sitting like right here. And so we all started talking, and I think I just like blurted out like, I just lost my virginity, and then they were just kind of like laughing like, bitch, that ain't no big deal, like fuck, you know what I'm saying, like we been fucking. So we all started talking. So then we all three of us had got off of the bus together, and at this point now it's like dark, you know what I'm saying. So okay, so it gets darker earlier, so maybe let's say it was like 6 or 7 or something at night, right? Mind you, it's Christmas Eve. I should have just took my ass home, right? And so the white boy was like, you want to do some math? And I was like, what's that? Right? And so he was like, it's this stuff, and like you can do it. Your parents aren't even gonna know that you're on it. Like you can totally do it and be like doing your homework and washing the dishes and stuff. And I'm like, oh, like, is it like weed? And he's like, no, it's better. So I'm like, okay, like, let's try it. That's just how I was. Like, I fucking was in PG County for 10 years. I didn't know what the fuck meth was. Who the fuck smoking meth? White folks, not these niggas out here. And so I remember him and the light skinned dude bopped off for like a hot second, and they were talking amongst themselves. So then the white boy, they both came back, and the white boy was like, yeah, I gotta get home. So I was like, what about the meth? Like, you just invited me to do these new drugs. Like, what are you talking about? And so he's like, yeah, I gotta get home. Da da da. So I'm like, well, what the fuck, yo? So I kind of knew what it was a little bit. Like, okay, he got his little ass out the way so that he could just have me or whatever. So I remember like, now mind you, I just met these people on the bus. I don't know a damn thing about these people. So the white boy left. So now I'm with the light skinned nigga. So the light skinned dude, I don't remember how old he was. I just remember he was older than me. Let's say he's 19 or something. Not that much older, but he was older than me. And, in San Diego, there's a lot of, gang banging and all that bullshit going on. So he was in some gang, Bloods, Crips, Hoover, Dams, I don't know, all one of them gangs. And so he knew everybody. When I say like when we were on our way to his house, when I say he knew everybody, he knew the homeless motherfuckers. He knew just anyone walking up or down the street. He knew everyone, but in a good way. Like dapping him up, saying hi to him, like that type of thing. So I felt safe with him. You know what I'm saying? Even though he was a complete stranger I had met 20 minutes ago, I felt fairly safe with him in my 17-year-old mind. So he was like, yeah, we about to go back to the house. We can chill out, whoop-de-whoop. And I think I just wanted to be in the comfort of someone else and not just go straight home to my mom, because me and her just weren't gelling like that. So I remember we got on the trolley. So out here, it's the light rail, so we call it the trolley out there. So we got on the trolley, and when we got off at this stop, it was like 4 niggas. Now these niggas they were probably like 28, 29. So that's, that was a whole lot older than me, and I'm 17. So when we got off, I remember they was talking to the light-skinned nigga I was with, and they was like, yeah, we waiting on them niggas to roll up here because we gonna get them niggas and da-da-da-da. So apparently, the light-skinned dude I was with had just got banked by some other gang-affiliated people, and his cousins was waiting to probably do a little bit more than beat them up, okay? So now I'm kind of like, well, what am I getting myself into? You know what I'm saying? Like, first I felt safe. Now I don't know. Should I feel safer or should I feel scared or what's going on? So I remember his cousins was like, oh yeah, who's that? Who you got with you? She fine, da 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 da, right? So I'm like, oh, whatever. Like, nigga, let's go into the house. So I remember being the cousins are talking a little bit, like, they was like fucking with me. And then one of them took my purse and ran. So I'm bucking after this nigga, right? I don't know what I had in my purse at 17, but whatever it wasn't important. Probably some lip gloss and $10, right? So I'm booking after him. I'm like, give me my purse. Give me my purse back. So he cracking up. He come back and he like, you ain't never had some niggas fucking with you before? Not taking my purse and running off. That seemed like a robbery to me. Like, snatch and run. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? Like, so then he was like, you gonna have to give me a kiss to get your purse back. You gonna have to give me a kiss. I was like, I'm not kissing you. I'm with the light skinned guy. He was like, you gonna have to give me a kiss. Do you know when I kissed him, I could taste it now. I think he was drinking Hennessy or something. he must have just been drinking all day. When some people drink, it like comes out their pores. Like that's how it was. And when I kissed him, oh my god, he like stuck his tongue in my mouth. Ew, I taste it now. And I was like, ew, in my purse, I got my purse, right? So I was already a little mad at the light skinned dude because he didn't seem to have any problem sharing me. And so we were like, I remember it was like this long walk, hike type of thing to get to his motherfucking house. So he was saying that he lived with his uncle. Okay, cool. But his uncle wasn't there. And his uncle was some type of like kung fu master because he had all these like trophies and he had like fought, I don't know, Jackie Chan and Jet Li and all them motherfuckers or something, right? And so it was like one of those little, it was like a one bedroom, but the living room seemed bigger than the bedroom. I didn't really see the bedroom, but the whole place was extremely tiny. Like you walk in, living room here, kitchen there, and then the one door to the bedroom. So the boy like stayed out, on the couch in the living room area. So I remember he put Paid in Full on. So I was like, oh yeah, I like this movie, whatever, whatever. So we watching the movie, and then this nigga's like lighting candles. So I'm like, the lights seem to be working fine to me. Like lighting candles seems like you're trying to set up a romantic atmosphere. And I just told you I lost my virginity. It wasn't a good experience. And now you think you're about to fuck me to Paid in Full in some type of romantic way, like. You could at least put Love Jones on or some shit. Like if he was gonna try to get a bitch in the mood. And so he just kept like, kind of trying to act like, like, bitch, whatever, like, how niggas are, they just gonna keep trying and trying and trying and trying and trying. So we watching a movie, whatever, everything's fairly cool. So then his uncle comes home. His uncle was super nice. So, I said hi, whatever, hello to the uncle. And then the uncle goes in the room. He closes his door. So then I remember the boy, like, he was trying to, like, kiss me. And I'm like, dude, stop, whatever, stop. So then I remember at one point he got up. And I'm just sitting, I'm just watching the movie. I'm not even, like, really paying attention to him at this point. And that nigga unzipped his pants, whipped his dick out, which was already hard. And I mean, it was, like, right here. And I never forget, he said, bam! Right? Bam! This dick hole right inches from my face. I'm like, I said, nigga, put that away. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck going on that? What are you doing? Like you was taking it way too motherfucking far. Like, a bitch ain't trying to lose her virginity twice, because that first time, I don't give a fuck what none of y'all say. That didn't really count. I mean, I did lose it to the African nigga, but, I really lost it to this other nigga. But anyway, so I'm like, look, I'm not trying to do all this, like, I didn't told you that. That nigga hopped on me, pushed me down on the motherfucking couch, like, just spreading my legs open and started, like, kissing me all on my neck and shit. And so I was like, yo, like, get off me, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to do this. Now, mind you, his uncle is right in the next room, right? So I'm not screaming it or trying to say it loud and, have the uncle run in and be like, what the fuck is going on? So the boy kept doing it. Like, he didn't give a fuck what I wanted. And I remember I just said to him, please don't rape me. Like, please don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't handle two big events like that in one motherfucking day. And so, and I didn't want to scream and his uncle come out. And it's crazy because, like, women, you'll hear a woman be like, oh, I was in an abusive relationship. And then he'll be like, how could you be with a man that beat you and da-da-da-da-da. And it's just like, you don't know what you would do in that situation. Like, you don't meet a nigga on Monday and then Tuesday he's just Ike Turner-ing you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit usually happens later on in the relationship after they already have your love and your attention and, most importantly, your trust. So in this situation, I just didn't, I couldn't, like, scream or anything. It's like you kind of freeze up because I think you're really in shock. Like, is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? It's just, that's not the first thought that really runs through your head. Like, let me say something. So, I remember I said that, and I think, whatever ounce of human he had in him, he got off of me, and then he was pissed. His whole demeanor changed because he had set, this whole thing up to fuck me, from, I guess, the time he seen me on the bus to the time he got me to the house. And then once he seen, like, I really wasn't with it, you know what I'm saying? Like, how niggas are, he switched up on a bitch. So I remember his uncle had came back out the room, and the boy, because I told the boy, I was like, take me home. Like, you need to take me home this night. This night needs to end for me. I'm ready to get back home with my mom. And so he was like, oh, okay, whatever. Whatever, I'm gonna take you home. Da, 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 da. And so now remember, I'm new to San Diego. I don't know how to get home. So he literally has to take me home. The nigga that just tried to rape me with his uncle in the next room. So I remember his uncle had told him, like, we in a bad area, so make sure before you leave you got your weapon. This nigga, it wasn't a knife, it wasn't like a pocket knife, it was a machete. I don't care what nobody says. Nigga had a machete somehow in his jeans pocket. I don't know if he somehow had some special jeans that hold machetes, or if the nigga somehow cut the pocket out the jeans and extended it, but that nigga had a machete in his jeans. So that didn't make me feel any more comfortable. So then he takes me back to the trolley. We're at the trolley in like 5 minutes flat. So nigga, you had me going through the hike through hell to get to the house, and now that you ready to just take a bitch home because you ain't getting no pussy, you done took me to the motherfucking shortcut. The fuck you shortcut, right? So we get back to the trolley. I'm cussing him out. I'm talking mad shit, right? Because I was scared, but when I'm scared, I don't want this nigga to know that, because that's when niggas, like, they say, like, rapists and killers, like, they thrive off of that fear. Like, they like that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'm just be a bitch. I'm just fake it all the motherfucking way home. So we get down to the trolley. We get on the trolley. So then, of course, someone else gets on the trolley that he knows. So he's talking shit about me to the nigga on the trolley. So then the nigga, I said something. So then the nigga like, oh, what you thought was going to happen when he took you home? I was like, nigga, if I don't want to fuck, then ain't no fucking going on. Like, I don't know what type of niggas that they were, but they weren't good ones, okay? That motherfucker, I got off at my trolley stop, and I just laid into him. I just cussed him the fuck out, and I went home, and when I got in the door, it was literally 10:58. Like, Jesus was on a bitch side that night. That shit was so crazy though. Like, that is just not the way that I wanted to lose my virginity. Like, I'm a romantic, like, I'm a dreamer. So I wanted to lose it, like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, not necessarily with my husband, of course, that was like ideal or whatever, but I knew I wouldn't last that long. So like, I wanted to lose it with like someone that I was like really in love with, and I wanted to lose it with Vaughn, you know what I'm saying? But that didn't happen. So, I wanted like the rose petals, and I did want some candles, but not candles to the movie Paid in Full, you know what I'm saying? So I just will never forget that night. Like, oh God, I had been through some shit. Like, I be thinking like, God, bitch, bitch, you know that footprints in the sand when they be like, God, why did you let me go through so much? And he be like, nigga, I didn't, nigga, I was carrying your ass, nigga, you didn't have to do a motherfucking thing. Like, that's how I feel. Like, damn, I've been through a lot, but I know this nigga was the one that was carrying me. Like, I'm telling you, he carried me on his back that whole night, because all that I went through was just a lot to process for a 17-year-old. And then to go home and just not tell my mom anything. I didn't tell her a motherfucking thing. I just acted like everything was normal. And I think teenagers do that a lot. Like, teenagers go through a whole bunch of shit and they don't really know how to process it. So they just don't. They just kind of keep it in a compartment in their brain and just kind of like save it for later. But anyway, I'm really glad that you guys tuned in to All Up in My Business. So stay tuned for more crazy stories yet. Thank you guys for watching. Keep coming back, subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.